We're back after some break with the social impact panel. So if somebody want to sit here as well,
We have the same stuff.
yeah, that's cool. Okay, four great guests with me: Zoe, Heinrich, Christian, and Dominik. And let's start already, as we run out of time with this delay. With the first question, I would like to ask each of you. Web3 is associated mostly with finances, I think so, trading and speculation, playing with leverage, so mostly financial markets. But more and more people see that there are use cases where we can have actually impact society in a good way, and it doesn't have to be associated with finances. So what is your story and how you found a way to use Web3, use blockchain to make a world a better place? So we can start with Dominik, I think.
Okay. Very cool. So I'm the co-founder of 𝗶𝗵𝗿 project. So our goal is to save people from the extinction of climate changes that happens right now. So I don't think that it could be more social to save us, right? Okay, but it's, if I have to answer, I need to create some context, right? So we are living in the place where we have like 400 gigatons of carbon dioxide that can be removed, and we reach something like 1.5 Celsius degrees. The temperature will increase. Basically, it will happen. In this case, we will be out of reefs, and this is the disaster. But these things have to be changed. It's very hard because 80% of generated energy that we are focused on is from fossil fuels. So we want to intensify and speed up the deployment of renewable energy sources. So currently, the price of energy from RES is $30, from coal is 31, and from natural gas is 60. So it's no problem from financial aspects and economic aspects to do investments in this kind of sources of energy. There is the other issue right now. It's an issue related to unbalanced grid, and that basically is extreme lows, like 50 years after the service. So we had, I think it was the February 2021 when whole Texas had a blackout. And now when we're adding the renewable resources, renewable energy sources, the situation is even more complicated because they are producing inconsistent energy. It just requires specific, this creates issues on various levels, technical level that I mentioned about, but also on the social level and market level. We are focusing on the social level, so basically it costs the increasing of the prices of the energy, and it increased the issue related to the poverty. Energy poverty is a huge problem from the social perspective. I think that we will see it in this year during the winter. So maybe this subject is not so simple, but it's really related to our existence. And the third thing is to address unbalanced networks. So we basically creating a solution that give tools to create the energy communities that are self-balanced, and they do not create this inconsistency into the grid. Right. So we want to speed up this matter. We want to address peer-to-peer trading of the energy. So it's not that blockchain have to be used only for trading the value, virtual value, but we are able to trade the real value, that is energy. Energy is fully trackable right now.
Great, thank you very much. And heading up with the same question to Heinrich.
Yeah, so great question. I had the opportunity to work in for a crypto exchange in 2017 and get involved in the Ethereum space. But to me, like I didn't really have a finance background, so I didn't take that opportunity to work for this exchange. And then just started trading like Bitcoin, altcoins and so on, and went through DeFi summer. And it's fun in a bull market, and like it's all exciting. But when the market goes sideways, you kind of have to think like, okay, like what other value can I add? Like how else can I create value? And then I heard in 2020 about a DAO that's funding longevity research. And I'm very passionate about health, nutrition, and so on. So I thought like, well, I can't contribute anything to like MakerDAO or Index Corp, for example, because I'm not a finance guy, but here's something that's combining blockchain plus my interest. So I reached out to them, and to this day, I think they've funded about $2.5 million worth of longevity research. And a lot of that has been done through Molecule's IP NFT framework, which is the company I work for. I'm marketing manager. The IP NFT framework takes biotech intellectual property, so early stage research, and it ports that into an NFT so that it can be liquidly traded, and placed on the blockchain, which allows crypto investors or DAOs, biotech DAOs, to fund this early stage research. And DAOs form around specific disease entities. So the first one is longevity, as I mentioned. We all have or have had grandparents grow old, parents grow old, or grandparents not being able to play with their grandkids because of aging. And the pharmaceutical industry normally tackles the symptoms and not the cause. So with 𝗵𝗂𝗏, which is the DAO that Molecule helped to launch, we try to go after the root causes of aging. And there's like 9 main causes, you can say. And we're trying to not necessarily make people live to 200, but like the years that you are alive. So let's say the average person, I know, is like becomes 80. No use, you're sick in the last 40 years of your life. So we're trying to, in the last 1 year or last 3 months, like everything can go wrong, but you don't want to like be sick for the last 40 years. So that's about health span with lifespan. So really thankful that I found this opportunity, and that's it.
This is great. Thank you very much for that. And we go with the same question to Zoe.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having troubles with my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, so my mission in life, or mission in my career, is to make buying crypto as easy as downloading an app on your phone. So your question about, okay, crypto is associated with speculation and trading. Yes, it is, but only to a certain group of people. And these groups of people, they're usually associated with the traders. And the traders have the knowledge that the crypto markets. Well, I founded or co-founded 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏 as a way for women to empower themselves to gain financial literacy, to gain financial freedom. So they in turn can have a look at the market. The market isn't a terrible place. It may look like it now with the bear market, but I think this is the time for projects with longevity. That was mentioned, projects with actual real life value. And one of the things that I'm doing to help society is making it a more inclusive and accessible place. The mission of 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is to actually not exist. So kind of like a dating app, when you've found what you wanted, you delete it. 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, hopefully in 5 years' time, we see more women building in the space. And that's exactly how we're improving society, because why would trading and speculation just be for the guys? It should be for everyone.
Great, thank you very much for that. And Chris, it's your turn now.
Yeah, thank you. Why am I on this panel here? Because I really believe I've been shifting from Web 2 to Web 3 in the last years, and I think it's really interesting that a lot of the founders that I've been working with in the last 15 years, they're not believing in Web 3. They haven't really understood what's going on here, and that's also because we haven't really impacted the society yet in a lot of ways. We're talking a lot about the code and what is going on, in bridging from chain A to chain B. At the same time, in the society, there are a lot of things happening. And I don't know if you've realized, but I've, just changed my shirt. So I'm actually freeing two people here. And they both have written software. So right now, that's actually an interesting time because right now, in the next 20 years, in this society, we will decide how we want to live. And if it's sort of a free world where the software is, servicing people, or where, as I just heard from a politician, we have given up on privacy anyhow already. If you want to be private, you have to drop your phone, take a bike, not a car, go in the forest and hide under a tree that you cannot be seen by a satellite. And that's reality today. That's not like some TV stuff, So I believe the blockchain has the opportunity right now to build services which are borderless, unstoppable, and a lot of other great properties. And we can shape that. And I think we have to shape that, because if we don't do it, then somebody else is going to do it for us.
Of course. And the next question is, once again, going to all of you. What more can we do using the blockchain, and what have to be changed? Because we're doing it in a wrong way. Is, for example, proof of work, or maybe you see some other areas which have to be changed. So we got a good impact on society. So we can start once again from this way.
So basically, I think that I don't want to be understood in the wrong way. I'm an engineer and I love tech stuff. If this is the complication is high, it's even more interesting. But like 99.9% of the society don't know how to use the Web 3.0. I think that users have this goal to basically fight with it. So we have to create very good onboarding user experience. This is one thing, and basically afterwards go with education. So I believe that we need a process when the security is not in the first place. Its first place is onboarding and pass all the users through the path to get to the secure and aware user. This is something what is not developed by the most of the projects, and this has to be done. So education and onboarding.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with education, and I think Web3 tooling, things like DAO tooling, it's something that we're seeing like right now with where we're also trying to launch a launchpad for biotech DAOs. And I think you guys also have a launchpad as well, and seeing the challenges of like setting it up the first time. And we want to basically create tools that will allow founders with like doing one-click setups of governance, forums, and so on, to make it like, I think once people realize that Web3 can allow organizations to exist truly borderless. Like I came from South Africa, discovered this DAO now I'm in Germany, living here, and once other people start realizing that through the education that we provide, through whether it be podcasts or hopefully someday in schools as well, that's going to open like so many people's minds. And then obviously there's the legal jurisdiction, like legal matters that need to be sorted out, and countries need to start recognizing DAOs. And I think, for example, in the case where the US didn't allow people to claim their 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 airdrops, like free money basically, but another country will allow that. So these organizations will set up in Dubai or in Singapore, and the countries that don't adopt will basically lose out. So yeah, I'll hand it over to you.
I mean, I'm a brand marketer, so I don't have much problem with the technology itself. But I think the way we communicate it isn't quite accessible. It seems, I think it was mentioned in the other speech, that every other person has a DAO. What is a DAO? Do people actually care about DAOs? Should it be the technology running in the background, and should we focus on the real authentic value that brings it to the mainstream? So yeah, to answer your question, it's how we communicate things, and also to be a bit more inclusive. I think like there's, if anyone is part of a DAO, you're probably part of a Discord channel as well. So you open up your Discord and there's like 50 different channels that you have to be a part of. And I think as soon as you go on holiday for a month, you're out of the bubble. So yeah, just in order to make it inclusive, coming from the first point, the technology has to be running in the background, and we have to really strive for true value and excellence. So.
Yeah, to me, it's also a lot about the communication part and explaining what it can be. And I mean, I often hear this something like why don't you just use Excel or some database? That's pretty often the feedback I get for ideas that we have, and I think that's just based on the missing depth of knowledge, of understanding, of the possibilities that there are. And we need to, I think, define a lot more projects which, use this technology instead of like maybe having another DeFi project, maybe have one more social impact project that we can explain better to the world out there why the blockchain will make a difference. And I think these projects are sort of, we have some here, obviously, that's great. And I believe that's, there need to be a lot more. But there also need to be a lot more in other areas, like, I don't know, social media, for example. I can imagine that, blockchain technology could help to get social media to another level, or maybe something like rational decision making. That's something I really, I'm thinking of a lot myself. I think we could just make better decisions for the world if we would just include, scientists and all the information that is there already, and sort of have it in a process that is transparent and accessible for everybody, and not done by bots, but by people. I think there are a lot of tools out there that we could start building, which aren't there yet. That's why I think it's so interesting, and that's why we also start an accelerator. Yeah.
Right. And staying on the marketing topic, Zoe, what do you think are there any ways Web3 can affect it and make it more transparent, better, so it's just better for the people?
Yeah, from a UX perspective, I think making the whole process a really streamlined and easy experience. That is the real gold from experience of creating exchanges from the ground up. I used to work at 𝗵𝗏𝗏 and then 𝗏bank. It's really not my day, is it? Yeah, just like streamlining the process, streamlining the journey, your onboarding, making sure that people understand how to use a wallet, what they do with their keys, understanding what is KYC, and yeah, just streamlining and making the process a much easier place to be.
Thank you. Going to you, Heinrich. Evaluating a little bit more on that topic, I think that with Web3 we see much bigger transparency in this space. How it's affecting the IP rights, and what you guys doing within the medical research, or like maybe any academia research as well.
Yeah, I think what's surprising to a lot of people is the transparency, seeing that everything is discussed out in not everything probably, but like the proposals and how the funds will be used, and getting updates from the researcher, and it's the whole community can see like, okay, milestone 1 reached, deploy the next stage of funding. And I think that's something that you don't normally see in a pharmaceutical company, where maybe only the board knows what's really going on, or if the project is failed. And we're seeing this a lot with decentralized science, where when a centralized company does research, and maybe the data is not so favorable, they might hide that data. Whereas I think the advantage of 𝗖𝗍, and which is obviously enabled by blockchain, is you can now like openly share this. Everyone knows, what study is being done, and you can share the process, the results continuously. Maybe not everything. Maybe it's like some of that is like locked behind, a wallet or something. But whoever buys the NFT can gain access. So yeah, the opportunities are still endless. And I think also with things like fake news, blockchain is also going to have a major impact. I was like working on a crazy idea, which is like a browser extension that works on any website where you can fact check anything and like stake your ETH or something. And if you're like a bad actor and like posting fake news or not verifying the news correctly based on what others said, you get slashed. So I think tools like that will be used where you have like decentralized fact checking. You've already got decentralized courts. So yeah, really excited to see what how Web3 brings transparency across the board.
Okay, thank you. And Dominik, how this that we can see all of the data affects the green energy market, and yeah, how you working with this?
So I think that the best to explain transparency impact is to use a use case that we are focusing on. We want to create. We are basically delivering this tool for creating energy communities. So it's like, for example, 20 households that installing wind turbines, photovoltaic, storage, and the very part of it is commonwealth, right? So of the community. So the transparency of the energy flow, of the usage of specific assets is crucial for this community working and basically evolving. The DAO allows us to have a governance mechanism internally that is basically allows to make a decision. It's quite crucial when you have a lot of members of the community to basically, buy additional batteries because it's required to have more stable energy in the network. To sell energy, to trade it on the retail market. So the transparency is crucial there because it's the group. If the level is quite big, they have to trust each other. They can trust each other based on transparent data.
That's true. And the last question, which is what is coming to everybody, is: do you see a way, or are we in the road to that point to make world borderless with this technology? So we can start with Christopher.
Well, I don't think so yet, to be honest. We're working on it, but we also want to become part of this and help, develop these technologies that are borderless and inclusive for everyone. But I think, we have to make everybody understand that these tools will exist and what they are here for, and make people understand why they have to KYC themselves, to sort of access a service to make sure that there is a real person behind it. Right now we've seen what happens with Elon Musk wants to buy Twitter and then says, well, there's only bots on this platform, so how can we be sure what we're actually reading there? It's interesting. So let's work on this together. That's our plan.
So you can go. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. The question is: are we there yet? Not quite. I think Web3 is incredibly early, but that shouldn't stop us from. I think we're in a little bit of an early bubble where we think or assume that everyone knows exactly what you're talking about. And until that bubble is popped, until the education is out there, unfortunately, it's not going to be as transparent or borderless as we think. In terms of community, I think that I actually have a nice example of how I think communities are borderless. So if anyone remembers Constitution DAO, when they all clubbed together globally to buy the Declaration of Independence. I know it's not a good example because they lost the bid by about 34 million, but it just absolutely shows the power of a borderless community. And yeah, this is what Crypto Girls Club aims to do. So.
Yeah, I would say to an extent we're already borderless. I remember the first international transaction I made, I tried to pay a developer in Poland, actually, and it was ridiculous doing that through my bank. And like after struggling for a few hours, I was just like, you know what, just like give me your Bitcoin address, and I'll pay you like the equivalent amount in Bitcoin. And he said, well, he doesn't have a wallet. I said, like, Google top crypto exchange in Poland, and there you go. He had a wallet, paid him, tripled in value, and he hodled. And yeah, to come back also to how I got involved and to Germany. I was working for a German pharmaceutical company, one of the big ones, but I was never part of any of the R&D or marketing of the headquarters. And through this decentralized biotech company, I could have all of a sudden like interact with any department all the way from South Africa with people in probably like 40, 50 different countries. We had people from Harvard, Stanford, PhDs from all over the world come in, the top marketing people, etc., all collaborating like brightest minds. Even Vitalik like was on one of our interviews. 𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗏 was there. Was people from like 100 different countries collaborating, and yeah, it's just I say to an extent, payments, things like that, can already be done. Anyone with MetaMask can send payments to anyone. You can take a loan on OVOO, on whatever DeFi platform you prefer. Versus I tried to log into my Celsius the other day to actually update something there, and it didn't even work because I'm in Germany. So whereas I could use it from South Africa, and now so I would say we're already there to an extent, and we've seen the failures of CeFi and I think DeFi and.
So the way is to stay decentralized.
Yeah.
That's a good message. Cool. And the same to you. So the borderless. This is only the idea. We go in there. Maybe one foot is there already. What's your thoughts about this?
Regarding the borderless, it's early stage. I think it's to even talk about it. It's basically if you want to create a project, you unfortunately partially stick to the specific regulation of the country. So this is something what limits you, what you can do. Even if you want to provide some service based on the blockchain, you have to take into account the other legalization. But so the world's getting extremely complicated. To borderless, I think that we have to have some kind of regulation for the borderless wide. This would, at the end of the day, make their life easier, because I don't think that it's difficult even to create from the technical perspective the project, but to start it and to go through this difficult path of the legal aspects, this is the hard.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. And there's time for one question. So if there is some, please raise your hand. And if not, I can say once again, thank you very much for participating in this panel. And in a few minutes, there's a next one, venture landscape.
Thank you.
Thank you.